Well, the WTO, in addition to what Chhenghuy has mentioned, the WTO, I think Chhenghuy has actually mentioned that it does also it plays as a role as a dispute resolution body as well. The WTO dispute settlement body is a mechanism for resolving trade disputes between WTO member countries and is responsible for overseeing the entire dispute settlement process. When a country believes another country is violating WTO rules, for example, by imposing unfair tariffs, it can bring the case to the DSB, kind of like what China is doing. China has actually already filed a complaint against the United States for its imposition of tariffs. So the process, I would like to delve in to the process a bit. So there's
Let me know. Let me know.
yes, there are four processes. The first one is consultations. That's where two countries meet and they hash it out. They talk.
Yes.
And if it's unsuccessful, you move to the next step, which is panel hearings. So the DSB sets up a panel of independent trade experts to study the issue and decide if WTO rules were violated or not. So basically, this is when these complaints are being heard and are being adjudicated.
Oh, I see.
Yes. And the next step would be the appeals as process. So after the panel hearings concluded, they issue a panel report. And if a country disagrees with the report, with the findings of the panel, they can appeal the decision. However, I would like to draw the audience conclusion. Sorry, the audience attention to the appeals process of the WTO as it stands currently. The appeals process right now is not really working due to the lack of quorum, and this comes as a result of the blockage by the United States, as well as other reasons. So in a way, there's a deadlock. But assuming that the appeals process is up and running again, after the appeals process, you go to the final stage, which is ruling and enforcement. If the WTO finds that a rule was violated, it asks the country to fix the problem, the violator. If not, meaning if the country does not cooperate, the affected country can get permission to impose its own trade penalties in return. So that's the summary of the WTO dispute settlement mechanism.
But please just zoom in on the legal aspects. I'm in the WTO side of things. What may be the key legal principles relevant to tariff measures? The core principle related to tariff measure, uh, well, it's actually depend on how the tariff measure would uh, cause and affect uh, on different country, and when it's bring a claim in relation to tariff, I believe the legal principle involved might be the core principle of the WTO itself, like the most favored nation principle. I've heard that a lot. Please go on about it. Yes. Well, it's not actually like its name, like most favored nations. Probably you might think that you had to treat one nation most favorably. It's a bit misleading, is it? Yeah, but it's more of like contrasting approach, which you actually have to treat uh, each member equally. So a country must treat all the WTO member equally in trade-related matter. So, for example, if the United States lower tariff for one country, it should also do the same for other, unless there is like a other preferential trade agreement between any other country, like free trade agreement, for example, right? And probably there's also another relevant principle in relation to this tariff measure as well, like the national treatment principle. So, under the WTO, national treatment principle is one of the cornerstone of non-discrimination rule, which essentially require the WTO members, like all the country, to treat the imported good or services no less favorable than their own
domestic product like products.
If there's a takeaway from these two principles, it's non-discrimination. So these two principles serve as non-discrimination principles.
But why are non-discrimination principles specifically very important in this regard?
Because I think we can all agree that the world is a globalized world.
Yes.
And to ensure that trade between countries are fair and they flow smoothly, the WTO recognizes that discrimination or favorable treatment to, let's say, a domestic industry would hamper the flow of trade. So free and fair trade is very important, and in order to achieve free and fair trade, non-discrimination principles must be respected and implemented.
I understand completely. And if we're just going to move past this, now that you have explained all the necessary mechanisms that I believe I am now more educated on this as a result, let's move on to the Cambodian government's actions. How about the Cambodian side of things? Like, how has Cambodia responded legally to the tariffs so far?
Um, well, at the current time, I believe we're in a stage of negotiation or bilateral talk with the United States side. There has been official request from our government to engage in a efficient diplomatic negotiations. And a part of our request, we have also clarified that our tariff imposition against the US is not like the US claim, which is only up to a maximum of 35%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we have also made a proposal for tariff reductions on 90 product category of the United States as well. That important to Cambodia, where we reduced the tariff from a maximum bound rate of 35% to only 5% applied tariff rate on all the 19 products. So if I remember right, there are some product like alcoholic beverage, vehicle like truck or motorcycle, uh, food product, dairy product, crop, vegetable. Those are the category that our government have proposed to reduce our tariff against the imported product from the United States as well. And we have also heard positive response in regard to our request for negotiation. And I believe we all know about the 90-day pause, right?
Yeah.
As a result from different government, including Cambodia, seeking to negotiate with the United States. Well, for now, I think it's also a good thing to have that pause for country to negotiate and see how this play out. And the current progress for Cambodia, our government actually had sessions a meeting with the United States trade representative as well to negotiate on this tariff related matter, and we'll see more round of negotiation going forward.
Yes. And while these negotiations are taking place, what other factors do you think can help Cambodia sort of improve its position in negotiating with the United States?
But before addressing the question head on, I would like to draw your attention to the very fact that Cambodia is a small country. Cambodia's current GDP per capita is around $2,400. We do not have the purchasing power to consume American products to achieve parity from the standpoint of trading surpluses and deficits. My point being, there will always be surpluses on Cambodian side and deficits on the US side. The United States is a global superpower. Its economy is valued at the trillions of dollars. So again, we are a small country. Deficits and surpluses will always be there. So on to your question, the strength of Cambodia or I would say the positive points that we can bring to the table in negotiating with the United States trade representative is this. Cambodia is a friend of the United States. Cambodia has always been a friend of the United States. We allow 100% ownership of businesses in many industries. Cambodian people and businesses primarily use American technologies. I can say that with confidence. For example, Apple products are prevalent in the hands of many Cambodians, young and old. Most Cambodian businesses that rely on digital services use American technologies. For example, Google and let's say social media sites, LinkedIn, Facebook. These sites are American owned and Cambodians rely heavily on them. Even the US dollar is a functional currency in Cambodia that is being accepted widely. If you stroll down the streets of Phnom Penh, you will see American cars, trucks, and SUVs. So this is one of the many reasons that the positive reasons that points that we can bring to the negotiation table. Cambodia has also introduced legislation to further make investment more attractive. Two of the main developments are the introduction of the National Single Window and the Trust Mechanism. The National Single Window is an effort to facilitate faster and more transparent export-import procedures, reduce costs, provide consistency and reliability for proceedings from the start of the required procedures to the completion of customs clearance. So this is from the point of import. American importers, they enjoy a better service through the National Single Window. And for American businessmen who want to, let's say, invest in Cambodia, that is made even better by the trust mechanism. The trust mechanism, by virtue of the law and trust, now allows foreign businesses to own land in Cambodia via a trustee. Bear in mind, this was not as accessible as it is now. Our constitution prohibit land ownership by foreigners. But through the law and trust, now foreign businesses can own land legally through a licensed trustee.
Looking ahead, how do you even foresee this situation playing out? Because what are the lessons learned what can we learn as Cambodia from what has currently happened to us so far in this last news cycle?
The current situation right now is quite unsustainable for the whole world. The United States themselves, their trading partner, including Cambodia, with all the tariffs going on, like that, it's blocked the free trade or the flow of trade that we usually have. So, much or less, I don't think that a lot of benefit will be provided, right? Going on, I believe or we believe that this would resolve by itself. And I think the result will remain to be seen. We can see that Cambodia are quite reliant on the United States.
As I said earlier,
Yes, yes. US is the top export market for Cambodia. So probably one of the main lesson is to uh, reduce reliance of the United States market, and to do that, maybe we can diversify our market further.
what do you suggest that the consumers do to benefit or help themselves moving forward from this?
It's very important that all of us remain vigilant. We must be educated and we must follow the developments of this whole tariff situation, because frankly, it actually changes by the day. The other one is we understand that the Cambodian government has made some proposals to the U.S. side, and that includes the tariff reduction on 19 product category.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. I am infinitely more smarter than I was. But at the same time, you have also mentioned that the experience that you both have, though it's from the legal space, still limited in some areas, of course. But how do you feel? Can you just give me just a general perspective on how you felt after being on this podcast today?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me feature on this first podcast. Um, Yeah, my knowledge is quite limited, but with what I have shared along with my college, I do believe that everyone who is the audience of our podcast today will be informed and probably be more understand of how tariff or related aspect of tariff work today. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Nate, for featuring me in our very first.
I genuinely would not have asked anybody else, and I'm being honest.
Well, I feel honored for you for thinking of me as that first guest.
I cornered you both into it.
Yeah, we are the guinea pigs. But yeah, I mean, so my conclusion for our first podcast would be this. I hope that we have shared something beneficial to the listeners, especially for people who are busy, who are not as hands-on with the developing news, developing the progress of this whole tariff talks, and as well as for our foreign friends who may not be able to read Khmer. So I think our podcast in the English language and our insight, I hope that it helps all of you. So thank you again for featuring me and Chhenghuy.
No worries. Thank you for letting me corner you in for today.
Sure.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please tune in for our second episode shortly. And I thank you all so much for your time. Thank you.